I mean, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I've tried a lot of different things. But right now, I own a few units in different countries. So one in Colombia, one in Thailand, one in the Philippines, and one in California.
Oh my gosh,
so
it's so cool. What's up, guys? And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Once Upon a B&B. It's Anne's.
And this is Ian.
And this is Maha. We have a special guest today joining us via Zoom, Jasper. Thanks for joining us on Once Upon a B&B.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I'm excited to join and be on the other side of the podcast.
Yeah, so you're a podcast host yourself. We see you've got this legit microphone set up and the headphones. I think you were telling us you've had one since 2014?
That's right. Yeah, I've done about 450 episodes.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
I didn't even know there were podcasts in 2014.
Exactly.
Like, were you the first podcast or something?
You and Joe?
You and Joe.
It's funny. I went to a conference, a podcasting conference back in Dallas, I think it was. I heard about podcasting. There was a conference nearby. I was like, let's go. And then I was like, wow, this sounds fun. Let's start one.
I love that. So innovative, original. Because I mean, honestly, like that was like the beginning of the podcast market. I can assume.
What's your podcast about? Has it been the same podcast since 2014, or you've just had?
What's the name of it?
Yeah, what's it
Yeah,
about?
for sure. Yeah, no, it's called Get Paid for Your Pad, and it's about Airbnb hosting.
You were really ahead of the freaking game.
Airbnb was new-ish around then too, right?
Kind of. I mean, I joined in 2011, but yeah, back then when I would tell people that I was doing Airbnb, this response used to be Airbnb what?
What? Yeah. That is so cool. So do you teach people how to get paid for their pads, I assume?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
That's so cool.
Like arbitrage, which is a word we learned somewhat recently, or buy and hold, which is also a thing we know so much about.
We learned last
Airbnb.
episode,
Yeah.
which was filmed 10 minutes
it
ago.
really started off as just kind of like an Airbnb one-on-one, just kind of sharing what I learned from renting out my apartment back in Amsterdam those days. But eventually, I partnered with somebody, another educator in the space, and we kind of took it to another level where we are now talking about scaling the short-term rental businesses and the different business models, rental arbitrage, management, ownership. So it's a lot broader now than it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's very popular these days to teach people how to do this. I think is almost as popular as actually doing it these days.
Yeah, that's right.
With your
absolutely right.
your spot in Amsterdam, I can imagine you had some wild experiences. I think that's like a top travel destination.
Are you in Amsterdam right now?
No, I'm actually. I just arrived from Amsterdam yesterday. I'm in Panama City right now. This is where I live.
Oh,
Okay.
PCB, the Redneck Riviera.
The country.
The better version of Panama.
I'm glad
Okay,
you said, 'cause I
yeah.
was thinking it, Maha.
I was like, oh, that's very different from Amsterdam. Okay, cool.
But yeah, so your first spot, I guess, where have you had other locations since then? So Amsterdam was number one. Did you branch out?
Yeah, I mean,
What's up, world? Make sure you tune into Once Upon a B&B to interact and listen to all the wildest, craziest, and weirdest travel stories. And of course, for me and my other two lovely hosts, Ian and Maha. Make sure you like, subscribe to Instagram, YouTube, and all streaming platforms. And we'll catch you next time.
I mean, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I've tried a lot of different things. But right now, I own a few units in different countries. So one in Colombia, one in Thailand, one in the Philippines, and one in California.
Oh my
gosh,
that's
it's so cool.
I think you're probably one of our first guests that's had units in that many different countries. That's really cool. And you own them all.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea was, I started with one apartment in Amsterdam, and I just wanted to travel. I became like a digital nomad.
Yeah.
And so I needed to do something with my apartment in Amsterdam, and renting out to long-term renters wasn't really working for me. So, I tried Airbnb, and it worked. It worked like, how do you say that? It worked like a
charm.
A charm. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you-
And Yeah, no, the vision was, I wanted to own different places in the world where I could stay while I'm traveling. So I could stay 1 month in my own place in Colombia.
That's so
and
That is
then
also my goal.
in
Right.
Thailand.
Where in Thailand? Where in Colombia? Where in the Philippines?
So Colombia, I'm in Cali,
Okay.
which is the second biggest city, but not so well known when it comes to traveling. So a little bit off the beaten track.
Salsa capital of the world.
Mm-hmm. White ass Ian is actually half Colombian, believe it or not. So.
Yeah.
Soy
But
colombiano.
yeah, it is. At least it's the salsa capital of South America. The Puerto Ricans will probably argue with you if you would say it's the salsa capital.
I
of the
like
world,
that.
But,
I'm biased.
We'll leave that for.
But them's
we'll leave
fighting
that
words,
Yeah, so Philippines, I'm in Boracay. Are you guys familiar with Boracay?
I'm not.
No.
I'm actually
I
shocked
may have
that you're
heard
not,
of that.
but-
Yeah. I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with it. No.
Yeah, it's the biggest tourist area in the Philippines, or the most popular tourist destination, I would say, in the Philippines.
Is that the name of the island or the name of the town on an island?
Yeah, the island's called Boracay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
but it's very small, so they don't really have like separate towns or anything.
Okay.
You don't find like it being all over the world, different time zones causes any kind of, I don't know, harder to manage? I'm sure you're not doing that yourself, or how's that?
I mean, I'm only actively managing the units that we have in California. It's one property with 4 cabins.
Yeah, cool.
That one and those are managed remotely. The other ones I've outsourced. So I've outsourced it to other property managers.
Big Bear, or where is it in California?
No, it's in Idlewild.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is so cool. I honestly just feel
Not
like
so
you're
far
a
from Big Bear.
visionary.
And the Thailand one, this town I'm going to know. I bet. Where's the one in Thailand?
If you know this town, I'd be impressed.
Ooh,
It's because it's a very small little beach resort called Bang Sare.
Oh, yeah, old Bangsaray. No, I don't know that. No.
JK.
Which one of these is giving you the most trouble that maybe has a story for us?
Yeah.
The most trouble, I've been kind of fortunate in that I haven't really had to deal with any major issues. I will say the apartment in Colombia that I'm renting out, my property manager has had some trouble with that one, and the biggest trouble.
Not my problem.
Yeah, somebody booked a
Bachelor party.
with a false credit card.
Oh, scammers.
So we ended up losing. Yeah,
I
we
bet they're
ended up
from
losing
Atlanta.
$1,000.
Right.
How much?
$3,000. Yeah, we lost $3,000
What?
on that, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. When someone uses a fake credit card, $3,000, that sounds like it was probably a long stay, right?
That was a 1 month stay. Yeah.
Wow.
So does the card not get charged until after the month or something? How did this play out?
No, the card got charged, and we got the money, or my property manager got the money. But in Colombia, the banking system is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled the money back like after the stay was already over.
Oh no.
So the systems there are a little bit.
It took them
different,
that
so-
long to catch the fraud?
Exactly. Yeah. So in the end of the day, like we were out of pocket, and he also stole a TV.
What?
It wasn't.
Damn.
That was
The
that was one
goal.
of my first stays actually in for that place.
Really?
Welcome to Colombia.
Right.
I know. That's crazy.
That's so
Bienvenidos, Colombia.
Were they American guests?
No, they were locals.
Oh,
yeah, they're like,
interesting. They knew the Colombian credit card
Yeah.
system was slow. They're like, they won't catch this for at least a month and a half.
I never thought about that, like transactions in different countries being like much different than American transactions, I can imagine. Or just essentially, I would have never considered that somebody would have to get away with $3,000 in a month's time frame. That's 30 days of fraudulent activity not being caught
Yeah.
or tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how exactly it happened, but my property manager stopped taking direct bookings for a while until he found like a better way to to take those direct bookings.
Mhm.
Oh, so that's how you got
This wasn't-
burned. I was going to ask about
Yeah,
how
that-
Airbnb didn't, take care of you, but
So that's one of the good things about using Airbnb is that you're never going to be out of pocket.
Trey.
I just feel like also, I guess you've had some more so positive experiences. Was that the wildest situations you've experienced?
Yeah, I would say that's the only the only real negative experience. I mean, there's
That's so
there's
good,
little things
though.
here and there.
What about a super positive one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, 95% or maybe even 99% of experiences have been very positive. I don't even know how many groups I've hosted over the last 10 years, but it's got to be more than 500.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Maybe more than 1,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is the only one that comes to mind where that was a significantly negative experience.
Well, you have been quite lucky. I don't think we've met anybody that has multiple properties and has been doing it for this long that doesn't have so many terrible stories of things that have happened. But that's great. So you're living the dream. You get to travel the world now. Is this your full-time job? Is just, having all these properties and you just get to travel constantly?
Kind of, yeah. Since COVID started, I really started focusing on the business I have with my business partner when it comes to the educational side. So we teach people how they can get started on Airbnb, how they can build a business on Airbnb. So right now, I'm still traveling a fair amount, but I'm trying to be more in one place just for productivity.
But for like a month or two, and then going to your next exotic place.
Yeah. Do you travel with your podcast equipment and record in your different places, or do you have to come back to home base to record?
No, I record. I record wherever I am. Yeah.
Very cool.
I think honestly, like Maha stated, you are definitely I think most people who get into Airbnb business ultimately want to have the experience you're currently experiencing. Several locations, constantly traveling. You can focus full time on booking and digital content. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? So when you tell your guests, when people sign up for your, classes, what's some information you could tell some of our listeners? Everything.
How do they sign up for your classes?
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to learn from the best from you, how to, get started in this business, make some money, how do they go about doing that?
The best place to start is getpaidforyourpad.com. We have a daily newsletter that we send out that people can sign up for. And then through the emails, we update everybody on the different courses that are out there. But we have a starter course, we have a course for advanced, more like a business course, and then we have a mastermind for high level operators.
Oh, cool!
3 tiers. I guess if they wanted to know one thing, what's something you know now that you wish you've known 10 years ago?
When I started Airbnb, I guess one thing that I really wished I'd known was that the pricing is really interesting when it comes to Airbnbs. When I started, I thought, well, my apartment, I feel like it should be about this price. So I just set it at one price. And, looking back, I probably left quite a lot of money on the table. Because I didn't realize how much people are willing to pay to stay in these places,
Yeah.
So I was giving away my apartment for almost nothing, which I still thought was a good price.
Yeah.
So just price points and just making sure based on the locations you've offered as well, it's kind of like you can ultimately charge what you want because these destinations just sound so unique. Or if they're already traveling, I'm pretty sure in comparison to what's around in that area, you may be charging cheaper So do you adjust your prices based on season or occupancy? Are you constantly changing them every day, or how does that work?
Well, nowadays we have pricing algorithms that are specifically designed for Airbnb hosts.
Oh, cool.
So you literally just put in some parameters and the algorithm will automatically calculate the optimal price based on weekday, based on seasonality, based on demand, and lots of other factors. So
is that Airbnb's built-in algorithm, or do you have your own separate one?
No, there's the one. I don't really recommend using the one that Airbnb provides, to tell you the truth, because Airbnb is wearing 2 hats. They want to be an affordable platform,
exactly,
on one hand, and they also want to provide tools to the host. So, they kind of choose the price that they think is best for them. But there's independent companies that have actually created these pricing algorithms that people can use, and they only have the interest of their client in mind, right? So
good to know.
Yeah,
like SmartBnB, I think is one we heard about before. Do they?
Can you name drop for us here?
Well, you got to pay for that information.
Give us a freebie.
SmartBnB is actually they rebranded. It's called Hospitable now.
Oh yeah, I think someone mentioned that too before. Cool.
Yeah, and that's more of a like an automated messaging app, or what you could call it a PMS as well, a property management software where you can do different things. But when it comes to the pricing side, there's Wheelhouse. That's a really good pricing tool that we use. There's Beyond Pricing, and there's Price Labs. Those are really the free pricing applications. And what they all work really well. It saves a lot of time.
Marry, kill, fuck. Those three.
Are you familiar with Kill, Fuck, Marry?
All right, let me teach you. This is an American game.
American humor, I guess.
Those three, what are they called? We got Wheelhouse. We got, what are the other two?
Hospitable.
Beyond Pricing.
Oh.
Beyond Pricing.
And Price Labs.
All right, you got to marry one, you got to fuck one, you got to kill one. Wheelhouse, Beyond Pricing, Price Labs. Go.
Which one would you marry?
I've heard about this game, but I've never really played it. But
let's do
this
it.
is not how it's typically played, but
this is exactly how it's typically played.
Okay, so I guess Mary would be Wheelhouse since that's the one that I'm consistently using.
Yeah, you should be consistent with your wife.
Kill. Man, that's a tough one. Because I have good relationships with all these companies. I don't really want to kill them.
Right. they're sponsoring getpaidforyourpad.com. So,
well, they're jealous now. You got two jealous algos right now, so you need to kill one of them for your own safety.
All right. Fine. I'll kill Beyond Pricing, and what was the other one?
Fuck.
I'll fuck Price.
Yeah.
All right, so you are a digital nomad now, traveling the world. How many countries have you been to, and where is your favorite destination so far?
That's a really good question. I'm just over 100 countries.
What? Wow. It's like almost all of them.
A real digital nomad.
Well, that's only about 50%.
Yeah, you're over half.
I know.
It's over half. That's
I'm
awesome.
halfway.
It's almost all the ones that matter. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
As far as like favorite country is like it's tricky, because every country has like unique things.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say some of my favorite. Number one, definitely Brazil.
Yeah.
Just the energy, the people. It's just always so much fun to be there. Philippines is one of my favorites. More so for the beaches, for the scuba diving, for the surfing, for the palm trees and the cheap rum. And then I would say let's do one more favorite. Indonesia. I love Indonesia as well.
Yeah.
For the food and again also the scuba dive. I'm a big scuba diver, so.
You're certified, I assume?
You got to be a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been like 3 or 4 times, but I refuse to get certified. Like, I don't want to be in charge for my own safety. I need somebody else to be in control of that.
And
I didn't know that was an option. You're allowed to scuba dive without being certified?
Yeah. You're like the second person to say that to me. They're called discovery dives.
Yeah,
you can go. You just don't go as deep, but like, and somebody else like makes sure your oxygen's good and all that. Like, you don't have to worry about it.
Like skydiving
Works for me.
But underwater.
Mm-hmm. It's like skydiving with like somebody on your back versus by yourself. Except they're not scuba diving on your back. That'd be weird.
Those are a good top 3 though.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say about scuba diving. The really cool stuff is usually deeper than 12 meters out. So
Yeah.
if you want to see like manta rays and sharks and cool. Big
You're not discovering any of that.
I mean, I saw some cool shit, but I also don't want to die. But
that's why I actually did a rescue diver certifications because I got a little nervous sometimes too.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if I learn how to save other people, I'll probably feel more comfortable.
Definitely. Scuba diving is kind of scary in general.
It is.
The ocean is scary.
Sure. It can be.
It's just like you have to get in the rhythm of breathing, like because you could kind of like panic at first because you're trying to breathe like how you regularly breathe, and that's not how you breathe when you're scuba diving. But where's your favorite place to scuba?
There's an area in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Raja Ampat, and it's just a couple hours off the coast of New Guinea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like has the highest marine biodiversity in the world, and it's absolutely incredible. Very little development out there, so very back to basics, but beautiful, amazing place.
That's awesome.
I feel so inspired.
Yeah, I've been scuba diving in Egypt and the Red Sea Aruba, and then Thailand, but I cannot remember where in Thailand. But again, they were discovery dives, so I felt like I was doing something, but I could like still see the top of the water pretty much. I was like 12 meters down.
Yeah, that's always a relief when you can see the surface. I dove one time in Vanuatu, which is in the South Pacific,
Mm-hmm.
we dived to a huge cruise ship that sunk, and I lost my instructor, and at one point I looked up and I only saw black because I was underneath the ship, and that was.
You're giving Ainsley a panic attack right now.
Panic attack. Oh, what was it last? What was the last part? I was in shock. I'm sorry. You lost your instructor. You could only see black, and then what happened? Yeah,
so I looked up, and all I could see was like black. It was like very dark, and so for a moment I wasn't sure like what's up and down. And then they teach you this trick where if you ever get confused,
bubbles.
You basically you blow out some air and you look at where the bubbles are going.
Yeah, and
so that's what I did, and then I just slowly started like ascending because we were pretty deep too.
How
eventually
deep?
I got to the surface. We were around 40 meters.
Oh, okay.
That was scary.
That's terrifying.
That
That is terrifying.
Because I just couldn't imagine being confused underwater. Woo.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a scary. This is one of the more scary moments in my life, I would say.
I feel like as an avid traveler, are you also an avid partier when you go to these places? What are some fun, exhilarating experiences you've had in these different locations?
Yeah, you got any crazy travel stories? You've been lucky on the Airbnb side, nothing too crazy happening. What about on the travel side of life?
Yeah, I mean, I used to party a lot. The last couple of years, I've been more focused on like building the business and stuff. But but yeah, when it comes to partying, I mean, nobody parties like the Brazilians.
Yeah.
Right? So just one highlight is in Brazil around New Year. They have all these like massive parties that last for like 10 days, where like 1,000 people go to this really remote place on the beach somewhere, and they build up, all these party tents and everything,
cool.
and they have different ones in different locations.
Brazilian Burning Man.
Yeah, something like that on the beach. Like it was those parties were great.
What part of Brazil?
I mean, these parties are in different places, but the one that I went to was in it's the state called Alagoa, which is just a couple hours north of Rio de Janeiro.
Cool.
10 days
couple
straight.
hours could be like 5 or 6 or 7. But
I'll go to Alagoa.
Yeah, I'd go to Alagoa. that Brazilian couple that tried to threesome me, they throw parties in Brasilia. That's like what they do for a living, which is the capital of Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Brasilia.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of my friends are from Brasilia. Actually, that's
Really?
the guy. That's who I went with the party with.
Oh, really?
I went with them to the party.
Oh my God, what if it's the same couple that tried to threesome me?
Small world.
Was he also a firefighter?
Well, they didn't try to threesome me for sure.
Do you speak other languages? Well, obviously Dutch,
do.
right? But
Yeah, I do speak Dutch and English and Spanish.
Portuguese?
And then, I learned Portuguese in Brazil. It's hard to speak them both at the same time,
Yeah.
like Spanish and Portuguese.
and they
It's
get
so
very
similar.
mad if you try to speak Spanish to them.
Yeah, that's true. They
I
do.
can say no falo português, which means I don't speak Portuguese. That's about it for me.
Yeah, Portuguese is a cool language. It's it's very similar to Spanish, but the pronunciation is like completely different. So
It's kind of like Italianish Spanish.
I had a Spanish test I had to take before, like in college, and so I was watching City of God, which I thought took place in a Latin American speaking country, and so I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna fail this test." I don't remember any of my Spanish. I can't understand shit, but it was Portuguese.
Because it was Portuguese, yeah.
I was stupid.
Oh man.
that's hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you definitely have lived. I mean, with how many years under your belt? 10 or 14 of Airbnb?
How many years traveling?
Or just like,
Airbnb? I started in 2011. So what is it? 11
Going
years,
on
I
11
guess,
years, yeah. Cool.
you're a veteran.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I can imagine. So when you had your first location in Amsterdam, what was your second? Or did you just basically use those funds to purchase the next property, then those funds to purchase the next, and just kind of went about it that way?
Yeah, what happened is they actually they came up with regulations in Amsterdam, so I wasn't allowed to do it anymore. So I essentially sold my apartment and then used the proceeds to buy these three other ones. Essentially,
Is it not difficult to because a lot of countries you have to be a citizen to buy property there? Like, is it all the countries that you've bought properties in? I assume that's not the case, or did you have to go through a citizen, or how did that work?
No, it's the only challenge in most of the Asian countries is that you are not allowed to own any land.
It's like a 1,000-year lease or something instead, right?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the units I have in the Philippines is set up as as one of those lease agreements, where you can extend those agreements. So it's pretty much the same as owning almost, but it's technically you don't own because you're not allowed to own the land.
The government.
So if you're the one in Thailand I have is different because it's a condominium. So my apartment is not on the ground floor.
Yeah, you don't own the land anyway.
Exactly. So in those condominiums, they allow 49% of the condominiums to be in foreign ownership.
Okay, cool.
That's so good to know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jasper.
There's no problems.
So it's getpaidforyourpad.com, or is it paidforyourpad.com?
Yes.
Which one?
That's right. It's getpaidforyourpad.com.
The number 4 or spelled out?
No, yeah, it's a number. So not the number, the
FOR.
FOR. Okay. Is that how we find you on all platforms? YouTube, everything, same name?
And do you have another company?
Yeah. If you
like Overnight Success.
So Overnight Success is our educational company.
Okay, cool.
Get Paid for Your Pad is like the reason I mentioned Get Paid for Your Pad as well is because I imagine a lot of people are listening. If you want to get started, that's really Get Paid for Your Pad is the resource for people that want to get started. Once you sign up for our newsletter, we'll also automatically send out updates about our mastermind, our business course, and everything else that we have. But that's just the easiest way to kind of get our information. But yeah, Overnight Success is the official name of our company, and then we have a website too, overnightsuccess.io.
Okay, awesome.
It's .com for Get Paid for Your Pad.
Getpaidforyourpad is .com. Overnight Success is .io.
That's right.
All right, cool.
Good to know.
That was tricky for me because my law firm is Payne Pros, but it was short for Get Paid for Payne Pros, and I was going back between the number 4 and FOR.
That's why I asked if it was the number 4 or FOR, because he's paid for Payne Pros.
I know you're. It's a lot of that P alliteration. It's hard on the mic.
A lot of popping.
Pushing P. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Jasper. We appreciate it.
I know. I feel inspired. It's
yeah, you really are. Goals.
Goals. Hashtag goals for sure. Yeah. Well, this has been another episode of Once Upon a B&B. This is Maha.
That's on me. Ian.
And this is Ansley. And it's Jasper. See you next time.
Thanks again, Jasper. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.